Let's make my Scrappy Paths quilt pattern using charm packs. Charm packs are 5-inch squares, and for this pattern you will need a total of 150 5-inch squares, which is roughly 4 charm pack bundles, and 1.5 yards of background fabric, yielding you a 67.5-inch by 69.5-inch quilt. I am using Garden Opulence by Art Gallery Fabrics and Nocturnal Pure Solid by Art Gallery Fabrics as well for my background. Now let's get started. For my 5-inch squares, I ended up trimming down a layer cake into 150 5-inch squares. The remaining squares can be used for one of my mini charm pack table runners, which I will link a playlist down below in the description. That way nothing will go to waste. Next, with your 5-inch squares, you will take 3 in mixed prints and sew them together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, resulting a 5-inch by 14-inch rectangle. You'll repeat this step until you have made a total of 50 pieced rectangles. With those rectangles, select 25 of them and save the remaining ones for later. With the 25, you will cut them in half, creating 2.5-inch by 14-inch rectangles. Repeat this step until you have a total of 52.5-inch by 14-inch rectangles. Now it's time to piece our block together. For your block, you will need one of the 5-inch by 14-inch rectangles and 2 2.5-inch by 14-inch rectangles as well. We are going to sew all of these strips together, creating a 9-inch by 14-inch rectangle. And that's it. Pretty simple and easy to make, and all you have to do is repeat this step until you have made a total of 25 quilt blocks. With your quilt blocks, we are now going to create our scrappy stripe by selecting 5 blocks, and you're going to place them side by side and sew them together to form a long 68-inch strip. Repeat this step until you have a total of 5 scrappy strips. Then with your background yardage, you will cut 5-inch by width of fabric strips, and it is time to piece our quilt top together. First, you will start with a background strip that you have pieced together to form a 68-inch long strip to match our scrappy strips. Then you'll add your scrappy strip, followed by a background, then a scrappy, and so on, alternating between the two until you end up with a background strip. And that's it. All you have to do is now sew all of your rows together to complete your quilt top. And here is what my finished quilt top looks like all completed. Stay till the end so you can see a larger image of the complete quilt. For the backing, I went with a coordinating print within the collection, and for the thread choice, I selected glide threads in the color Rock Navy. And here is what my quilt looks like all completed. Here's a close-up of the quilting. I use Calliope, which I will have linked down below in the description for my long arm quilters. Do note that I did blue this pattern up to 18 inches tall, and I loaded my quilt lengthwise on the machine. This pattern is normally pretty dense, and if I can recall, it's around 13 inches to 14 inches tall. But once again, 150 5-inch squares and 1.5 yards of background fabric will yield a 67.5-inch by 69.5-inch quilt. But if you could please take a moment to hit that like and subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you can be notified for your next amazing quilt project.